Oh, it's happening. Okay, let's do this. Hi everyone, my name is Aksa. I'm so excited and I'm so nervous that I'm actually doing this. I'm sorry if I keep looking this way. This is my first time doing this, so I'm probably gonna be looking at the screen over here and then you all, I guess, you can say that. But I decided that this was gonna be my first video, so I really wanted to just introduce myself before I start posting like all this content, and there's like all these ideas that I have in my head, but I wanted for all of you to get to know me a little bit more. But my name is Aksandra, A-X-A-N-D-R-A, or you can call me Aksa, whichever is easier, A-X-A, but my channel is called It's Aks. I had so many names in mind, but at the end of the day, that was like the only thing that came to mind. I love Jesus, I love coffee, I love to have fun, I'm adventurous, I love to travel, I do some crazy funny stuff that sometimes I don't think about, but I should probably think about. Somebody send help because my glasses flew out the window. She's blind. Ooh. You Let's just share a little bit about my story. Well, I actually grew up in Monterrey, Mexico, given my cup. And when I was 5 years old, my parents decided to move my brother and I here to the United States. It wasn't really a huge shock for me, just because I didn't understand what was happening. I was young. It didn't hit me till later on, and now I'm gonna post a video later about that, about my journey through that. I grew up in the church. I grew up with my parents, both of my parents being Christian, and I grew up knowing about Jesus and having a relationship with Jesus, but it wasn't until I had an encounter with God that I truly accepted Jesus into my life, and I had a relationship with God. And from that moment on, like, my life just completely changed. And I told God, like, God, I want to give my life completely over to you. Like, I want to serve you in any means possible. So from that moment on, like, I just began to serve God. I was serving in the church, I was serving in the media, I was serving at school functions, I was doing everything that I could to just serve God. I eventually became the middle school director at my church. There was just so much that I was doing in ministry, and I loved it. When I got to high school, I started to think more about my future and what I wanted to do. And at that time, I knew God was calling me into ministry. I ran away from my calling, so right after high school, I enrolled in my community college, and I decided to major in media communications, and I started to study photography and video editing and cinematography, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, it just didn't feel right with me. I knew that God was calling me into something bigger, into something higher, and I didn't know what in the world he was calling me to. I was a nervous wreck, let me tell you that. I quit community college, and I told God, like, what am I gonna do now? I don't know what the next step in my life is. It was a huge transition for me, a huge decision for me, and I ended up in Bible college. It was the best time of my life. I met some of the most amazing people. I had so many crazy memories, so many amazing times that I spent there. I met my best friend, and it was just crazy time, and I loved every minute of it. But it was being there that God truly placed it in my heart, and I truly accepted the call that, okay, God, I'm called to ministry. I broke my ankle in school, so it was a huge roller coaster ride for me, because everything was going good for me, and bam, I broke my ankle and I had to stay home for a couple of weeks. I decided to take a break from school and later on continue. Well, during this time, I got a job offer to work as a local missionary here in my home city, and I was gonna work with a nonprofit organization called Youth for Christ. It was a Christian organization to help and to reach youth who didn't know about Jesus and share the gospel with them and build relationships with them. And it was a completely different experience, but I loved every minute of it. When I say every minute of it, I loved it. I met my mentors, my spiritual parents there. I was being poured into left and right, and I was pouring out, and I was doing ministry, and I was like on fire for God, and everything was going good. And then things like that changed. I felt God calling me into a season of rest. I was always pouring and pouring out, that sometimes like I left myself empty and I felt so drained out. So when God called me to the season of rest, he was like, look, this is gonna be a season where I'm just pouring into you. And God was gonna use people, and he was gonna speak to me and just pouring into me. Somehow, and I'll make a video of how God called me into this, but I signed up for a university that was 3-4 hours away from my city, and I told God, like, why would you send me somewhere out? Like, why can't I just do it here in my city? And I knew that if I stayed here, I would go out of my way to still be involved in people's lives. I would go out of my way to still be involved in ministry. I would just want to keep being there. I was just getting confirmation left and right, like it's good for you to go, like you need to go. Got to my Christian university. It was an amazing experience. I can tell you that. Again, I met so many amazing, wonderful people there. I felt like this was a season where God was using people to pour into me. The people who I have just met who were just speaking life into me. I had people praying over me, and I was listening to preachings, and I took counseling. I was able to heal from some stuff in my past, and it was just such an amazing opportunity. And being there, I signed up to lead a missions trip. And leading a missions trip means that you had to go through all this training to lead a missions trip. God just made a way for me to get involved in that. I had no intention whatsoever. I knew that I was going to do missions full time as well. And I didn't care where, when. I just told God, I want to do missions full time. I met some amazing missionaries who shared their experience with me, and I was so motivated, and I knew that everything God had brought me to, he had led me to this moment. And part of me doing this YouTube channel is I want to share my missions journey with all of you. Although I'm going to post like all these other videos, but my main focus was to focus on missions. Having a relationship with missionaries now has given me such a huge eye-opening opportunity to step into what missions is. And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what it means to be a missionary, whether it's here locally, wherever you are, or whether it's overseas. And I want to shed some light into that. So, being there at school was such an amazing journey. I met amazing people, amazing friendships. I did so much fun. And it was just an amazing journey for me. And then COVID happened. this quarantine, I just felt like God has been teaching me a lot about growth and a lot of stuff that I realized that I needed confidence. And I was like, you know what, God, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it right. So now I'm here. But I just want to bring smiles to people, and I want to share my life experiences with you all. Things that I've been through myself, things that I've had people share with me, obviously with their consent. Share from like a young adult perspective. I'm going to share about my single life. I'm going to share about counseling and just hard topics that sometimes I feel people don't want to bring up, and hopefully to encourage you all. I'm going to have people come, friends, family, even myself, come and share stories to encourage you all, because I know how hard it is to share parts of your life with people and just be vulnerable on this channel. You know, be vulnerable with all of you and motivate you to share parts of your life with people, and, you know, just have confidence that God loves you and have confidence that God is with you through everything. Again, my name is Aksa, and I'm so excited to be on here. I'm gonna try my best to post weekly. I'm gonna post vlogs, my missions journeys, stories, topics to talk about, and just shenanigans that I go through. Please help a girl out. And I had the fight and the confidence to be here today, stand in front of this camera, post this, and let people see me and advertise it on my social media for you to watch. And it took a lot, but I'm here. So I want to encourage you, if you're scared to do something, you know, do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. You know, have the confidence to get out of your comfort zone and do something that you've never done. Please help me out and share this video and tell people to come follow me, subscribe, like my video, send me some love and encouragement. And as my gym teacher always says, if nobody's told you they love you, I love you and God loves you. And make sure that you subscribe. Just press the button right there. Again, peace, love, shalom. See you next week.